Leak is admitted. The fact is they admitted and they are counter after it. Mr. Kaushik, we take it that it's an admitted fact that there is a leak. There is no question about it. But the nature of the leak is what we are determining. Not yes. Therefore, we are asking question. The fact that there was a leakage of question papers cannot be disputed. Now, what is the consequence of that leak would depend upon the extensive nature of that leak. If it was not explained leak or uncontained, I'll tell you one thing. You don't cancel a whole examination merely because 2 students have committed a malpractice. Likewise, assuming that there is a leak, we don't live in an ideal world. There should be no leak. But before we decide to order a retest, we must be careful about what is the nature of that leak, because we are conscious of the fact that we are dealing with the careers of 23 lakhs. Is absolutely right. Absolutely right. And asking 23 lakh students to reappear for an examination, together with the preparation, cost, travel, and dislocation of admission schedules. Unfortunately, there is no other choice. Unfortunately, there is no other choice. Paper has been leaked. Now, therefore, we want to know this. Therefore, we would like to know first the entire process which takes place. Two, what is the nature of the FIRs which have come forth? How was the leak? What is the point of time at which the leak took place? How was the leak disseminated? These are important questions. And next, very important, what are the actions which the Government of India and NTA have taken to identify the wrongdoing students or the beneficiaries of the wrongdoing? Correct. Now, I give an example. I appear for someone who was come first.
I'd like to make submission.
Sir,
I'm in 31.9, my lord.
We have understood your lordship's question. They are very pertinent question, and that would ultimately lead. But I'll just give an example.
One second, Mr. Solicitor. We also want to know what are the steps which have been taken by the NTA and by the government to identify the beneficiaries of the leaks, because that we have to be ruthless on identifying the beneficiaries.
We also have to be ruthless,
right? Because anybody who has breached the examination is not entitled to be there as a successful student.
Those who are identified, the results are. But give me an example.
How many? We want to know. How many have been identified?
Yes.
But more than how many have been identified, we want to know what was the course of action which was taken by the government.
So kindly allow me to give an example. For the time being, leave Bihar. I will not call the police also. I will not take instructions. Take for example Godhra. Godhra incident, it passes on as a paper leak case. It's not a paper leak case. What happened was, there was one superintendent of one, he arranged with certain students that he didn't have the paper. But he said that whatever answers you can confidently answer, you give the answers. These are multiple choice questions with negative marking. And therefore, I would have a window of 3 hours before, after I take your papers back, and I seal it and send it to the concerned authority. Fortunately, the authorities, the district magistrate came to know about this. It must have percolated from somewhere. Therefore, the moment examination started, the entire district administration and entire police administration was there. The papers after the examination were taken in their custody, sealed in their presence and sent, and that man was arrested. Now from his mobile, there were several video chats which were found. And we could identify that these were the people with whom he was in touch. So those identified students, their papers are, their results are with him. And they are issued show cause notices. Why should they not be?
So we want to know totally.
But they are not concerned about Godhra, but they are concerned about Patna. Patna is the leakage. Godhra, we are not complaining. I am only about paper leakage, Patna. Nothing else. All others are minor issues. All are minor issues. Nobody would ask for a cancel of the examination on some basis of that.
Overall, in the entire country, how many students whose results have been withheld, owing to what we are discussing today? Individual, one student cheating from another student, we are not bothered about that.
Absolutely.
And the law will take its own course.
Yes.
How many students are there whose results have been withheld as a result of the systemic, so we won't say systemic, as a result of the leakage
Leakage.
So, and where are those students situated? You want to see the geographical distribution of those students. Are they in one state? Are they in multiple states? Where are they situated? And third, now one more thing which we'd like to also dwell on is, the following justice, the order passed by the bench presided over by Honorable Justice Vikramnath in the vacation, 1563 students, there was a retest. That was held on the 23rd of June, not 21st of June. 23rd of June.
It has been posted last Saturday, 4 years.
Now, one second. Just tell us for this examination now. Are we still in the process of identifying the wrongdoers in terms of the students? We're not talking of those who are perpetrators, but beneficiaries. Have we been able to completely identify the students who are the beneficiaries, or is that process still ongoing?
Answer is no.
For instance, one second. For instance, look, if we have no go, we'll have to cancel the exam.
But there has been no effort whatsoever on that side.
As a court,
Yes.
this cancellation of a test of this nature, 24 lakh students,
Completely agree with
is a matter of extreme last. So because it may be, this
Lordship is absolutely right.
It may be, and therefore we are asking questions about what was the time at which the leakage took place. So that will give us an idea of what was the opportunity for dissemination. What the modality now.
There are 56. Quick answer. If you're not
Just one second. Mr. Solicitor, 1 second. Just one second.
Everything by
Today at our disposal, and the government of India has its cyber forensic unit. Is it not possible for us to run through the use of experts to bring some sense of confidence to the process? That you carry out a detailed data analysis. The suspicious markers are. All right. So I just want to say one thing. Let us not be in self-denial.
Absolutely.
Right? Self-denial is only adding to the problems because now everybody knows there was a leak. So we have 2 or 3 things. We have to see what happened for this exam, what we do in the ongoing process for the conclusion of this year's admission, and finally, which is the third aspect of the matter which we'll answer, what do we do to ensure that the leak does not take place again in the future? Or what are the steps we are taking to ensure that the dissemination in the future does not result in the leaks that we've encountered? On the last aspect, subject to hearing you, there should be a sort of a multidisciplinary committee consisting of the best experts, not necessarily only from the government, but people who have very wide experience and who are respected across the country. Because we are, today, we are dealing, I don't have to emphasize it, we are dealing with the most prestigious of educational admissions.
And
Every middle class
young
parent,
minds will not which are the pressure.
every middle class parents aspire their children to go to medicine or engineering, or, Now, what are we doing to ensure that that this will not happen in future, and how are we planning to tighten the examinations process? Is there an audit being conducted by the government on what went wrong in the NTA? That's one aspect. What do we do? There's a third aspect. Second aspect, assuming that we are not going to cancel the entire exam, what do we do between today and the date of admissions to identify those who are beneficiaries of the fraud? And the first aspect, do we cancel the exam or do we allow the counselling to go through by identifying the beneficiaries? And on the first aspect, we'd like to know from the government, what have you done so far to identify those who are beneficiaries of the...
I can assure your lordships one thing. But we are not adversary.
Report of the CBI and Patna police. That is most important. Report of the CBI and the Patna police.
Mr. Solicitor, they have, from what they are trying to emphasize, we find that they place a great deal of emphasis on the fact that in the 20, 21, 22, 23, you had 1 plus 3 plus 1 plus 2, that is 4 and 1, 5 and 2, 7 students who got 720 out of 720 in 4 years. This year, we have 67 who get 720.
Which my lord 6 are
One second.
We have an answer that is...
I have one more question. One second. What is the percentile distribution in this exam across categories, not just 720 out of...
Few centers.
No. The distribution of marks, is it skewed at the top? In the last year, suppose, how many were in the bottom third percentile, in the middle third percentile, in the top third percentile? This year, in the sense that will give us an indicator, was the pattern, was it a paper leak? Was the examination pattern comparatively easier as opposed to the previous year?
We have done the analysis, we place it on chart.
The
chart I have given that answer my lord's query.
To make a small submission.
Last page of all the page note. The chart I have given that satisfies my lord's query. The marks, my lord, I have compared, given the table. My lord, somebody in 2022 who obtained 700 marks. My lord, may I kindly see this table for a moment? That will throw light on my lord's query.
222, somebody who obtained 700 marks.
Yes, in 2022, his rank was 94.
Right.
In 23, somebody 700, his rank was 247. Then somebody has 700 in 2024, his rank is 2250.
He goes down.
He goes down because there's so 100% rise, but he is up.
My lord, also there is another aspect.
Another question.
Also there is another aspect.
One second. How many students appeared in 2022, 23 and 24?
Same. See, that table is showing it. And table is showing it, my lord. The 56 students that are before total number of all of them are stoppers. My lord, kindly see the difference.
Lord, also, my lord, also there is another aspect to it.
They increase in a very linear fashion.
But there is another aspect to it. In fact, NTA has published several answer keys. My lord, I'd like to point. My lord, I'd like to I'd also like to point out some.
May I say something? Only one of the 56
May I be able to
is a
may I
top.
make a small submission, my lord?
Rest all of them have been meritorious, have scored highest mark in class 10 and 12. In so far as Gujarat is concerned, in these 56 people that have come before my lord. So this is a case where all of us are facing tremendous mental agony because of this.
That's all right. Now we can leave aside the emotions. You can trust us.
I am saying that out of
What we want to know, Mr. Solicitor, what we want to know is this. We will have these, we'll have these anecdotal, charts like this which are given to us. Please take instructions from the government. Can we not run this through a data analytics program with the cyber forensic unit? You can contact, if the government has that in the Ministry of Home Affairs, so much the better. If you don't have it, you can ask any of our top service providers to find out, because we have to identify whether the skewing of marks is so systemic that the whole examination is affected, or is it possible to identify people who are wrongdoers or likely wrongdoers, in which case a retest can be held for those students only.
I'd like to make a small submission.
But I can assure your lordship about one thing. But we are not adversarial to the petitioners either way. The petitioners who have an apprehension of an all India problem, or petitioners 23 lakhs in number plus, who are feeling insecure because they may have to face another examination. But we are concerned about both the sets, and we will assist your lordships dispassionately. Then whatever your lordship has suggested, I think the solution lies somewhere else.
One second. What we'd like to do, insofar as the petitioners are concerned, all lawyers for the petitioners, please, we'll take it up on Wednesday, Colin. Give them a day's time. Minister also wanted 1 day's time. We'll give you a day's time. Put your together. We want all the lawyers for the petitioners who are asking for a retest, to sit together between now and Wednesday and give us one set of submissions.
Violation.
We can't have people, 100 lawyers arguing before us on 100 different grounds. We want you to all sit down. We'll appoint one nodal counsel, as we do in the CB matters.
That's right.
You give us one consolidated submission, say not exceeding 10 pages. I don't mind. It shouldn't exceed 10 pages. Why you are asking for a retest? All right.
For that purpose.
Likewise, we'll do this. We will ask the government to circulate a comprehensive list of dates and a response to what we have raised.
in the CBI can be directed. Everything is with CBI. NTA, as we have seen in the reply, they say we do not know whether it was systemic or not. Here, sometimes they completely deny this whole thing. So let the CBI file a status report before this honorable court in all 6 FIRs that will place the picture in which direction the investigation is going.
Not all 6.
Not filtration in between. Let us submit a status report.
You are appearing for the CBI also, Mr.
Let the CBI file a status report.
Why don't you do this? Ask the CBI to file a statement
On Patna. That's where the leak has occurred. On the rest of our minor issue.
Only the investigation, whether it is systemic or whether it is not.
If I have submission for
More suggestion, if you Lord may kindly consider it.
Lord, I'd like to make a small submission, my lord. Here, also
But there is more suggestion, if you Lord may kindly consider that.
Change in the answer also.
But in the meantime,
So the order dictate करें क्या भी?
my lord,
Only one request.
submission, my lord.
I'll call for the record from the CBI also. And because something may not be made public, how to place it before your lordships, etc. Then, my lord, can I request, my lord, this is a joint request, that we file everything as suggested by our lordships by Wednesday, and matter can be heard on Thursday. So we are not, my lord, nobody investigating office file an affidavit, my lord, is taken by surprise that what is the document. We'll prepare it today, file it by my lord, day after. And my lord, we can have
that filtration which happens in between. But the investigating officer is the best person.
No, I'm not on CBI. On overall.
So Wednesday he's saying take it up on Thursday.
Thursday.
They will, so you will get 24 hours to study what they are saying.
And but in the meantime, if Lord may just consider one more aspect. Only once they get the entire result of 23 lakh odd people be declared on their website, they have not declared that result. It will also analyze the data because they declared the result of 100 people. We could see that 6 people who secured rank 1 are from the same center.
It is declared.
So you will be able to see.
Also,
They are not comprehensively published.
Declared on the website.
Lord, I'd like to make a small submission.
You made your point. Let's hear Mr.
Same center, not the entire student got the same of marks 720 and 720. So lordship. One center lordship.
From the same center,
720, 720.
Yes.
How is it possible, lordship? This is my question is that.
People, one center in her.
Lordship, my second question is all our sheet is different. Result is a different lordship. How is it possible?
The situation is
The entire result, once you analyze the data, are on the resources.
answer keys for the same OMR scheme.
Also permitted to upload above.
Multiple answer keys for one single person. It has been published by the NTA on its website.
Opened up on the 8th of April for enlisting students, my lords, on a 24-hour window on the 9th and the 10th of April, my lords. And change of answer also. They have changed the answer also, my lord. This is what
They changed the answer.
And then the second question is that why the NTA has declared the result the 4th June, my lord. It is a question that already, my lord.
3 answer keys for the same set of question paper. How can NTA publish that? NTA also should be investigated.
3 weeks are there. How many total?
1,10,000. 1,10,000 approximately.
The next
Of which 50% is government. 1 lakh plus.
How many?
1,08,000 something is the exact figure. 56,000 is the government seat. The entire funding is on the government seat, so that they can go to private. And there was one more that was my lord.
My lord, I'd like to make a small submission, my lord.
My lordship, it's my humble request.
On VC,
The data which has come out, it will be important that this please come out.
My lord,
we have
all
to
five-
match sheet status.
my lord, on VC, I may be allowed to make a small submission of 30 seconds.
Which is open on the 9th of 9 April. Sir, my lordship, the portal is opened on 9th April 2024. It's my humble request, please give the clear data to find out so that we can.
My lords, why the window was open on 8 and 9? What was the reason?
Yes, sir.
And what was the result? Because this is the only difference.
My lord,
They have identified 1,560
candidates who are appealing.
We'll tag something and we'll now place it on Thursday. We'll just give some direction to the matter so we'll be able to focus on what we want.
my matter. What is the we should look at?
Yes, we hear you. We're not going to read.
So that we can stop.
On 9 February 2024, the National Testing Agency, into brackets NTA, issued an online application form for the National Eligibility cum Entrance Test, into brackets NEET UG, bracket 2024. Stop. NTA conducted the NEET UG examination on 5 May 2024. Stop. Results were declared on on 4 June 2024. Next. On 5 May 2024, from the material which is emerged on the record at the present stage, it appears that on 5 May 2024, the first information report bearing FIR number 358/2024 was lodged at PS Shastri Nagar, Patna, alleging a leak in the NEET UG 2024 question papers implicating offences under sections 407, 408 and 409 read with section 120B of the Penal Code. Stop. On 23 June 2024, the Economic Offences Unit of Bihar Police issued a press release noting that in connection with the above FIR, 13 persons, including candidates and members of, and into inverted commas, members of the organized gang of examination leak.
Sorry, I should not interrupt. This is what I gave to the lordships. This is not true. That is what the Bihar police on that very day clarified.
Where is that clarity?
I had just given.
No, my friend is wrong.
This is what
No.
Bihar police clarified.
No, you are trying to cover up.
So this is on that very day published, Manoj, by the Bihar police. This is with regard to the news report of NEET UG exam published in the Sunday Express newspaper dated 23rd June. On its front page with the headline, Bihar police put...
So this press release is not an official press release?
No, that's what the Bihar police clarified. It's on their website. Kindly read it further, Manoj.
Sir.
Paper link in the my relevant appears not for Bihar. He handed this over to me just now, Manoj. In the news item, the undersigned has been wrongly quoted and the name has been mentioned at least 3 times in the news item by the correspondent so and so. Whereas the matter of fact is that no such brief had been given by the undersigned to him in this regard, and neither the concerned correspondent ever contacted me before attributing the quote to the undersigned. No official press release or statement in this matter had been issued. This irresponsible act of correspondence is against
on second. According to the petitioners, on 23 June 2024, a press release was issued by the Economic Offences Unit of Bihar Police setting out in regard to the paper leak which had taken place. On the other hand, now, a communication dated 23 June 2024 addressed by the Additional DGP Economic Offences Unit, it has been stated that no official press release or statement as an act of cover-up had been issued by the Bihar Police. But stop. Be that as it may, in this batch of petitions, one of the primary reliefs which has been sought is for a court-mandated retest the entire process which took place, culminating in the examination which was conducted on 5 May 2024. Stop. In support of the case, their case, the petitioners have relied on two primary circumstances. First, it has been submitted that before that you can just say the NEET UG 2024 examination consisted of multiple choice questions involving a total of 180 questions. Let's cover. Each of the 180 questions carried 4 marks, making for a total of 720 marks for the examination. 45 marks each were allotted to the segments in physics, chemistry,
biology, botany and zoology.
Geology and
Botany and zoology.
physics, chemistry, botany, and zoology. Stop. The examination envisaged the award of negative marks, of one negative mark
Per wrong answer.
per wrong answer. Next. In support of the plea that the court should direct a re-examination, the petitioners have primarily relied on two circumstances. First, it has been submitted that that candidates securing the maximum of 720 marks were confined to a few students, between 2020 and 2023. In 2020, full stop. As opposed to this, in the NEET UG 2024, as many as 67 candidates are reported to have secured a maximum of 720 marks. The submission can best be highlighted by reproducing the chart which has been placed during the course of the hearing. A copy kar lijiye, haan? The above chart indicates that while one student in 2020, 3 students in 2021, 1 student in 2022, and 2 students in 2023 secured the maximum marks, there's been a radical increase in the students securing the maximum of 720 marks in 2024. Apart from the second submission, proceeds on a comparative tabulation of the ranks which were allotted to students in 2022, 2023, and 2024.
For me, most important, the league has happened. That is the core.
The second, the above submission is sought to be highlighted from the following tabulated chart. वो भी डाल दीजिए इसमें BB. The above chart indicates that students receiving specific level of marks between 539 and 700 who had secured a particular rank in 2022 secured lower ranks in 2023 and a radically lower rank in 2024. No. Same marks, same level of marks. Not same student. Stop. Next. Considering whether, before that you can say, it is certain basic facts which are not in dispute need to be alluded to. Let's talk about 24 lakh students registered for the NEET UG examination, which was to be conducted in the month of May 2024. Let's talk about 23.33 lakh students, correct? Yes, sir. Appeared for the 23 lakhs 33,297 students. वो क्वेश्चन ये बताइए क्या फिगर क्या है? 23 lakhs 23,290 students, 297 students appeared for the examination. The examination was conducted at 4750 centers comprised within 571 cities. First off, the examination was also held in 14 cities overseas. First off, the total number of seats, medical seats for undergraduate, one second, I've made a note, for undergraduate studies is 1.08 lakhs, of which approximately 56,000 are seats in government hospitals. Let's talk. The investigation, prima facie, but tentatively, at the present stage, the court has been apprised of the fact that don't say tentatively, the court has been apprised of the fact that first information reports were registered in Patna, Delhi, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Jharkhand, and Maharashtra. Correct? Stop. Whether the files in relation to the paper leak is only confined to Patna, yes, or otherwise, is a matter which would have to be reserved for a more detailed elaboration, detailed consideration. Stop. The above narration indicates that the examination was conducted over a wide spectrum comprising of nearly 23 lakh students spread over 4,750 centers in India. Good stuff. Before the court can be full stop. The law on whether a retest should be ordered in a situation such as the present is based on fairly settled parameters. Let's stop. The court would have to scrutinize on the basis of the data which has emerged on the record whether, bracket 1, breach in the sanctity of the examination has taken place, whether, bracket 1, the alleged breach has taken place at a systemic level or at a systemic level, semicolon, bracket 2, whether the breach is of a nature which has affected the integrity of the entire examinations process, and 3, whether it is possible to segregate beneficiaries of the fraud from the untainted students. Stop. In a situation where the breach in the sanctity of an examination affects the entirety of the process, it is not possible to segregate those who are the beneficiaries of wrongdoing from others, it may be necessary to order any examination. On the other contrary wise, where the breach is confined to specific areas or centers, it is possible to identify those who are beneficiaries of wrongdoing. It may not be appropriate to order a retest, particularly in an examination which has been conducted on such a massive scale, involving over 23 lakh students. Involving such a large body of students who would have appeared, who have studied for the examination, undertaken costs and expenses, and would have to undergo the rigors of a fresh examination if it were to be ordered by the court. Next. While flagging these issues, while flagging the above issues, we are of the view that view on the merits would have to be deferred until further facts are placed on the record before this court. Full stop. For that purpose, we intend to direct the National Testing Agency to make a full disclosure before the court. Full stop. The disclosure which we are intending to require can broadly be classified into three aspects. The first aspect pertains to the nature of the leak, places where the leak took place, and the lag of time between the occurrence of the leak and the conduct of the examination. And this, from this perspective, NTA is directed to clarify on the basis which is in its possession as of date on the following issues. Bracket 1. When the leak of the question papers has first taken place. 2. The manner in which the question papers were leaked or disseminated. Bracket 3. The duration between the time duration between the occurrence of the leak and the actual conduct of the examination, which took place at 2 p.m. between 2 p.m. and 5:20 p.m. on 5 May 2024. The second, while making the full stop, on the above aspect, we are also of the view that since the investigation has been entrusted to the CBI, the status report should be filed by the investigating officer before this court, indicating the status of indicating
Take it for partner. Only that's a court.
The status of the investigation up to date and the material which has come to light during the course of the investigation. But one may when the leak was first noticed. Karlu. The investigating officer shall, in particular, indicate to this court, shall place before this court material which has been gathered during the course of the investigation, which would have a bearing on when the leak is alleged to have first taken place, the modalities in which the leaked question papers were made available. Stop. On the second perspective, the second aspect on which we NTA shall give a disclosure to this court is in regard to the steps which have been taken so far for identification of the beneficiaries of the link. In this regard, the court can be apprised area of the following, bracket 1. How many students, what were the steps which were taken by NTA to identify the centers, cities at which the leak took place, 2, modalities followed for identifying the beneficiaries of the leak, and 3, the number of students who have so far been identified to be the beneficiaries of the leaked question papers. Likewise, the investigating officers
may say he has dropped authority because identification may not be within our.
all right. The above information, I'll clarify while editing. I'll put it so that it will be more the Ministry of Home Affairs or some other.
Not the leak will be at one place. At how many centers the leak paper has been made available? Because the leak will be in the entire system at one place.
No. We have said that dissemination also. We have said. The investigating officer shall also submit a status report bearing on the above aspects.
Yes. Well, one point.
The third aspect on which it is necessary to have a further disclosure by the union government as well as by NT, means the union government and NT, is whether it is possible by the union government and NT is whether it would be is on whether
Technically feasible.
Yeah, whether it would be feasible, using data analytics, either within the cyber forensic unit or any other expert agencies within or which may be employed by the government to identify cases where suspect cases would stop. For instance, these cases may involve full stop. This may be if this is possible, the authorities shall identify before the court identify the modalities which can be followed so as to segregate the tainted from the untainted students. The third aspect on which we would require a disclosure is in regard to the modalities to be followed between the conclusion of the examination, including the retest which was held for 1563 students, and the actual commencement of the counselling process. Stop. If an exercise is to be conducted by the NTA and by the union government so as to reduce any further beneficiaries of the question paper leakage, a considered decision at the policy level would have to be taken by the government on whether counselling should be allowed to proceed in the meantime or otherwise.
May not say that.
On the status of the council. Fourthly, the court is concerned about the steps which should be taken hereafter to ensure the sanctity of the national eligibility cum entrance test, so that such instances which have transpired during the course of the present session are not repeated in the future. In this regard, just 1 second please. In this regard, it would be necessary for the government to consider setting up a multidisciplinary team consisting of renowned experts who command the wider confidence of the community to ensure that due measures are being taken to obviate any further breaches in the NEET in the future. Stop. If a committee has already been set up by the government for deducing the steps to be taken for the future, full details shall be made available to the court. The court may then consider whether the committee which has been constituted by the government should be allowed to proceed as it is, or whether the composition of the committee should be
Enhanced.
It already was
sufficiently enhanced so as to bring together a pool of talent from diverse fields.
जो लोग ग्रो करते हैं ना,
इंडिपेंडेंट बन जाते हैं.
And Mr. Kaushik, then senior counsel appearing for the NTA, have requested the court to place the further hearing on Thursday ka date, so as to enable them to make their to file the material in pursuance of the above queries by 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Full stop. The affidavit. The affidavit shall be shared with counsel appearing on behalf of the petitioners simultaneously. The report of the investigating officer of the CBI shall also be placed on the record in the meantime.
May I be only be clear to say one aspect?
I'll tell you why. Let there be the reason why we are asking for this disclosure. Whatever clue we ultimately take, let there be confidence in the community that
Absolutely,
that
we not very good.
Lord, I have only one thing to air your lordship's views. The entire. Lord, can I make one step? The copy will serve to us as well.
In view of the large number of counsel who are appearing on the side of the petitioners, we have requested that it has been agreed who will be the nodal counsel.
So Mr. Subit Sharma Banod, who is
independently sometimes.
Shall act as nodal counsel. All the counsel for the petitioners who are desirous of pressing their submission for a retest shall file a common set of submissions not exceeding 10 pages before the hearing takes place on Thursday ka date.
My lord, kindly allow the
Petition, my lord.
the petitioner on this side, my lord, can it be also be time of loss? On this side, that's a fact that
You are being supported by these.
I appreciate that. I also want to get out the fact that happened in our all cases where they
Why don't you do this? Give us a short one-page note. That will be more.
very.
Wherever your lordships have said petitioners, there are transfer petitions where we are essentially respondents.
And this is beyond the leak, my lord.
Beyond the leak also.
Yes, my lord, there is also a
They have changed the answer also. They have changed the answer of one question and allotted the number.
Yes, my lord. In fact, it's happened in my case also, wherein there are 3 answers.
Mr. Solicitor, we have not specifically in our order included the red flags. You can just have understood, right? I deliberately haven't put it into our order, but you can just see whether there are some cases like that which you can identify. See, so that then.
We have 5 counts.
I'd like to select the case.
We have inserted. Perhaps they are not given copies. The other ones who are intervening or etc.
What we would suggest is what you give us on Thursday. And one more thing, what you give us on Thursday, make it comprehensive so that we don't have to wait through your counters and everything. We just look at that basically.
Manas, may I just make one small request?
We've now chalked out our roadmap. If we can, using whatever technology, common sense, and our understanding of the law, identify the wrongdoing students. We then don't have to ask 23 lakh students to again appear for the exam. If we have no other go, of course we are there too.
Once you kindly allow the implement application.
For us to file that one page of our diary number to be recorded.
That matter, NEET matter. All right. Yes, there are 3 other matters which we have to take. Sorry.
Maybe noted, so I file the page. Our diary number made noted.
All right. Any other fresh matters on NEET which were not on board?
Yes, sir.
After we you can give the matters numbers to the court master. He will bring them on board.
My lords kindly allow the implement application.
One more thing, Mr. Solicitor. Has everybody served their petitions on the council database?
But we have not
All right.
replies, my lords.
All right, once again, the council appearing for all the petitioners, council appearing for all the petitioners, interveners, shall serve copies on whom should we say?
Central, M.K. Maroria.
On Sri M.K. Maroria. And Mr. Vardaman Kaushik, counsel appearing, counsel instructing the Solicitor General and Mr. Kaushik, R.C. Kaushik respectively. The 2 counsel appearing on behalf of the 2 counsel, Mr. Maroria and Mr. The Union of India and the NTA shall prepare a tabulated statement indicating for each petition a tabulated statement grouping the petitions into distinct categories so as to facilitate disposal. So what you can do is those which are asking for a retest, you can put in one category. Then individual grievances, then we'll see whether those grievances can be entertained, whether we ask you to look into it, what to do. But we'll have one tabulated chart on petitions.
Make it easy.
Manas, may I just request one indulgence?
That's why we said, therefore you serve a copy on the solicitors.
They have changed the answer also. Condition, they have changed the answer of the one and they have given the more marks to 13,000 students. The complicated problem for the ranking is concerned.
But look, this is nothing. Therefore, those petitions you may have to dealing. They are individual petitions. Those are individual petitions where you say you have a medical condition, you should have been given extra time. We'll deal with it separately. It does not deal with the sanctity of the examination. That's the individual student's petition.
This order should not be deemed to be as restricting only to the case of leak because between the.
Not at all. In fact, that's why we have finally said this.
For the reason, my lords, on the 8th, while the exam was announced for the 5th, my lords, of May, on the 8th of April, overnight, my lords, they brought about a notification that there will be a window open for students who could not register for the exam way back on 16th of March. Now, this window that they opened, my lords, is absolutely difficult to understand.
So more students registered.
And 25,000
Has begun now.
Manas, I am appearing in item 3 to do with the request for 1 second of indulgence. Manas,
Look, there are more students registering, etc. How can we?
No suspect because the initial
official advertisement.
We'll hear you on that. We'll hear you on that.
The entire result, the entire comprehensive result should be put on the website. Right now, what's happening is individual results only are put up. So somebody has to go. So we can't.
Mr. Kaushik, the entire result, except for those which you have, we will say that these results shall not give rise to any equities or legal rights. But you must at least now upload the result.
Yes, the entire results. The result comprehensive. The data science can work here.
1 second.
The revised result of 1563 and the rest of the persons all has been uploaded on 30th. No. Individually.
But you have uploaded.
So that is why we can't use data science. That's the problem. If they are deliberately keeping under wraps.
No, this would, your lordships may take a call on that on Thursday. But there is something.
We'll apply our mind carefully on
Please, my lord, kindly, my lord.
My lord, it has also moved certain the NTS.
maybe the track record of the toppers may be also looked at it, Johnny.
Already there, right?
Obliged.
Just one second. Just 1 second. 35. Parmeshwar, the reason we kept your matter today was, now, we knew that we can't take it up today, but what is the scope now of this All India Judges?
It's
I appear in item 35.
Your lordship.
My IA alone has been.
Only his IA is there.
So what's happened, my lords? Your lordships have put it up for compliance today. Your lordships, orders for the past 2 years have not been compliant with. At least 8 or 9 states have not released pension and allowance arrears, even though your lordships on multiple occasions extended the time limit for payment of those allowances. That's not been compliant.
Should we just take up on Thursday the issue of compliance?
That's fine. Thursday. So that's also far as compliance is concerned.
Compliance.
On the main, there's only one substantive issue, pension. It's pension, one of the old pension scheme versus new pension scheme. That's the only substantive issue, and that because there are
How long will we take on that?
all the submissions that are compiled and have been put in, I will take about 2-3 hours to explain the consequences of shifting from the old, and also to explain why
We'll have to take it up on a Tuesday, I think.
We will have to have
there is substantial argument from the state and
So we'll take it up on a Tuesday. So what we'll do is today we'll keep your matter on Thursday only for compliance of the payment of allowances, etc. by the state. That the union has no role.
124 order for complaint.
124 order. So we'll keep that on Thursday too. We'll take up the issue of compliance.
There's an IA listed today, Millets. There's an IA listed today. There's a fresh IA listed today.
They have passed the circular according to the allowance order.
That's right.
That is what Parmeshwar is also arguing. No difficulty.
And my question
May I say-
is there.
Today there is an IA Millets that gives that superannuation. Millets, the High Court has submitted an application before your lordships, and also the state government has given its willingness that it could be extended. It only requires your lordship's increment. That could be taken up on Thursday.
It can be taken up on Thursday.
Don't surprise us on Tuesday. The fag end of the day now.
Thursday.
We'll take it up on Thursday.
Otherwise, they will be
Any
replying.
numbers just give. Chetan.
Yes, we'll give that.
Okay, the first part never figures is right.
Take it up on
Yes. My lords, your lordship. This refers to the National Commission. Your lordship, thank you so much for giving time. It refers to the National Commission on Allied Healthcare Professionals. It was already notified in 2021.
And we had issued notice in this on 22nd.
Your lordship, it was issued. The notices were issued in September last year.
What has happened now?
But till now, about 19 states, parties have not even entered appearance, your lordship. And only 6 have only just filed their, 6 states have actually filed their, replies so far.
Can you give us a little tabulated chart? We can keep it on Thursday.
Can we do it on next Monday, Your Lordship?
Okay, we can do it. We can take it up on Monday.
Monday.
If you can just give us a tabulated note.
Yes.
So that which are the states which have implemented, which have not, and which are the states which have not filed reply.
Absolutely.
We'll give them one last opportunity. Others ask the chief secretaries to remain present or something like that. So they'll file their reply.
Your Lordship, 3 years, it was actually done. I'll just take you 30 seconds. This was actually done primarily after the COVID pandemic, after the first wave. And we did not have a national register to know how many allied healthcare workers were there in this country. And after 3 years of passing of this legislation in the parliament, even now, it hasn't been actualized, Your Lordship.
All right. So we'll
Extremely
the proposed directions which you are seeking at this stage. So absolutely pass those directions.
deeply obliged. Thank you. Thank you.
My Lord, Senior Advocate Meenakshi ma'am is appearing online.
My lords, this is the Manipur matter. My lords, we're pleased to pass directions on 4th of December 2023 for the displaced students. Now, my lords, these are 59 students, and we are now into the next year, and we haven't been able to get admission. The learned solicitor was behind. He said,
I get to appear, my lords. We have found some solution to some of the students' grievances that came to us after Your Lordship's last order of 17th of May 24. But my lords, for dental, we are yet to find solutions. If Your Lordships will call this next week, I'll file a status report on what solutions we have found for the Manipur University students. And for dental, we will come up with a proposal. It's at the final stages, my lords. Kindly call
We
it
can take
next
up on
week.
Monday then. We can take a.
my lords, my lords, I have a request. I have a request for my learned colleague on the
on
other
Monday
side.
then. We can take a.
Certain solutions that have been
Question
suggested
papers.
is like the students would study in a university like the Assam University or the Northeastern Hill University. Now, but they would take their exam from Manipur University. For many of them, it is said, we do not have courses or we do not have the equivalent subject or the syllabus in these other universities, so we cannot take you in. Or you may use our facility like a library or a lab, but we can't assist you anymore. That does not work. There are students from zoology, there are students from chemistry and other streams.
Suggest,
Even if we use a laboratory.
can we suggest this, Ms. Bhati? If
Yes.
Ms. Arora and Ms. Bhati, if you can just meet between between the two of you.
My lords, we'll do that.
Ms. Arora, if you can just indicate what the practical problems are.
Yes.
Or if you meet, we keep it on Monday so that if Ms. Bhati can take instructions from the Advocate General is here, sort it out to the extent it is possible. Others will issue directions on Monday.
Very much. My lord, I will meet with her, and we have also given a detailed written note. But be that as it
Right. And
surely
it's a small
4,750.
so that we can then pass orders on Monday. 4,000.
750. My lords, the dental
Center.
students, my lords, my only
How many,
request is that
right. How many cities?
the process can be expedited. My lords, we are waiting
Give us specific.
I think I was
the next session is
Complete it. We'll complete it on Monday. We'll pass orders. 571 cities for dental students. Instead of arguing orally, how many centers abroad? Give us a one page, just in bullet point what the problem is.
Please, ma'am.
Becomes a little easier then, because it's
centers.
now tell us how many students appeared totally?
24 lakhs around minutes. Around 24 minutes.
You have the precise figure.
23 lakhs, 73 lakhs. I'll give you lordships in the
23 lakhs.
33,297.
Yet against registration of 24 lakhs and plus. 72,000 students, my lords, did not take the exam, spent registration.
Now, how were the papers distributed abroad?
They were sent minutes and
When were they sent abroad?
through the embassies minutes.
And how were they sent to the embassies?
You'll get the details minutes.
Were they sent by the diplomatic bag? Were they sent by courier?
I'll find out minutes and let.
And
It's on record.
And second, if the now they were the exam was held in as many as 4,750 centers
Yes, please.
in 571 cities,
Yes, please.
right?
Yes, please.
Now, when you say that the two booklets, we'll call them
Yes.
A and B, set A and set B,
Yes.
they were sent to these cities. When were they sent to these cities?
Yes, please.
When were they sent to these cities?
Approximately about 5 seconds.
We don't want to
I'll
tell us the precise dates.
get the exact dates.
When were they and how were they sent to those cities?
Yes, please. I'll get the dates. Bihar police.
And were they lodged in the State Bank and Canara Bank in each of these cities, or what happened?
Each of the cities needs they are lodged with the custodians who are next Canara Bank and State Bank.
So we want to know on what date were the question papers sent? Where were they? When were they? When the question papers were prepared?
Yes, please.
Right? Question papers are prepared by one person or more than one
A
person?
group of experts. Question papers are prepared at the headquarters
Where are the headquarters? Delhi.
in Delhi.
So 2 sets are prepared by 2 different groups or one group?
By the same group.
One second.
The same group of experts needs to stay on different sets of question papers.
At the headquarters.
Yes, please.
After they are prepared, they are given to the NTA.
Yes, please.
Right. Now, tell us when did the group of persons conduct the prepare the question papers and give you the question papers?
Dates. I'll get the date.
Right. We want to know what was the date on which these question papers were prepared and given to you.
Yes.
Point 1.
Yes, please.
After they were received by NTA, in what custody they were preserved? When did NTA send them to the State Bank of India and Canara Bank into different cities?
In between, printing is there, next.
Right.
Printing presses.
So when
are they sent to the printing press?
which is the printing press?
Yes, please. We will get the details.
We want to know which is the printing press.
Yes, please.
When did you send these question papers to the printing press?
Yes, please.
What were the transportation arrangements made for sending them to the printing press?
Yes, please.
When did the printing press, after the printing press prints them, we are now talking of 24 lakhs, 50 lakh sets.
Yes.
Right? Because 24 lakh had, how many sets were printed?
Correct.
And after they were printed, where were they sent? Are they sent back to the headquarters at Delhi?
Yes, please.
Huh?
The remaining sheets,
No.
unutilized ones.
No. After the question paper is set, it is sent for printing.
Yes.
You have a printing press A.
Yes.
You need not tell us where the printing press is, otherwise next year they will go to that printing press.
It's there.
Now, it is sent to that printing press.
Yes, please.
Right? How is it sent to the printing press? Under what custody?
Yes.
Second, after they are printed, how does the printing press send it back to NTA? Between that date and give us that date, how many days had elapsed between that and the distribution of the question papers to these 471 cities and 4,750 centers?
The entire movement plates are prepared at that. Starting from it, the preparation of the question paper.
See, I'll tell you why we are asking. If we come to the conclusion that the time lag between the leak and the actual date of the examination is relatively limited, then that would be a circumstance which would militate against holding a retest.
Not sure.
If the time lag between the leak and the actual examination, Brother Mishra actually mentioned,
Is wide. Then
is wider, then there's a greater chance that the malaise is across the system.
correct. I get it next. I'll give you time.
If it appears that the question papers were leaked on the morning of the 5th, exam was scheduled at 2 o'clock, students were made to memorize the questions, that may be one indicator that the leak was not as widespread. Somebody who has the question paper is not going to ask students to sit down and memorize them and give on the spot memorize them. How many answers can a student memorize?
There are two aspects.
Therefore, we have to have some clarity on facts for us to understand whether this is so systemic that we must order a retest.
Not.
See, there are 2 or 3 considerations which way. One, if the sanctity of the examination has been lost, then a retest has to be ordered, right?
Yeah.
If we are not able to identify candidates who are guilty of wrongdoing, a retest has to be ordered. If you can't distinguish the grain from the chaff, that is the tainted from the untainted, a retest has to be ordered.
Your Lordship, judgment.
On the other hand, we are dealing with now a situation of 23 lakh students. It may be far-fetched for us to at least presume, unless they point out material to us, that all 23 lakh students or a substantial number of them are involved in the fraud. For what we know, A large number of students may be just honest students who have appeared for the exam.
Large number are honest. Large number
Therefore, we have to see. We have to see if, second, what was the modality? One more very important aspect. What was the modality in which the leak was detected? If the leak took place. If the modality of the leak is through electronic means, social media, then there is a possibility that the leak is extremely wide.
Well, that is the point. What your lordship said is all correct.
The electronic media. That is one thing I answered this. We are flagging these issues. We want you to therefore give us a comprehensive analysis of dates. Certainly. Because if the leak is taking place through, say, Telegram, if it is taken through WhatsApp,
That happened.
because if it's through a social media or any electronic means of communication, it spreads like wildfire.
Yes.
On the other hand, we must also balance it out about the time at which the leak takes place. If it's more or less in the morning of the 5th, then the time between when the leak takes place and the students have to go for the examination is very limited.
On the time,
This is a hard decision, but there is a
One more thing in which we require some assistance from both sides. Please don't treat it as an adversarial litigation. For the reason that whatever view we ultimately take, this view is impacting the lives of 20 lakhs students. Second, we want to understand, is it possible for the court to identify red flags? Right? So, can we identify, either we do it or we appoint an expert committee to identify the red flags? I'll give you some examples of red flags. 720 out of 720. Alright, everybody out of who gets 720 is not a fraudster. There may be still people who are extraordinarily bright at 720 out of 720. But we found that for the previous years, the proportion was very low. Now, this year suddenly it goes up to 67. How many out of those 720 are people from that 1563 who are beneficiaries of the added grace mark?
We have given the details in our count affidavit.
No.
81 places.
No, we just want you to now put it down on a piece of paper for us. Second, we want to understand this. So, a change in centers is possible, right? A change in centers is possible. Suppose a student, I was just telling my brothers at lunch, suppose a student is registered at Lucknow. Suddenly you find that student has gone from Lucknow to a distant center and gets the 720. Suppose somebody is registered at Ahmedabad and suddenly goes to a fairly distant. So that may be one example. So we can, we will have to do some, if we have to separate the grains from the chaff, we will have to identify certain red flags. That those who fall in that red flag category, we may have to then hold a limited retest for that category alone. Second, is it possible to do, using the cyber forensic unit of, say, the Ministry of Home Affairs or whatever, is it possible to do a data analytics on the entire result and to identify? Now, there may be one category I was thinking, when we were reflecting on this matter. Students who get exceptionally high marks in the NEET, but whose performance is not reflected in the 12. But there again, I'll tell you one thing. 1 second. There again, there's a problem. Students don't study as hard for the 12th as they study for the NEET.
One figure may assess
Another red flag. A student gets exceptionally high marks in one faculty of science, like say physics or chemistry, but gets 5 marks in the others. So, because it may be unlikely that a student who is doing so brilliantly in one would not have studied at all for the other faculty. So, the only point is that, I'm not sure whether we should be doing this or whether these wouldn't.
They have not declared the entire result also.
As Brother Mishra says, does the full marks have a pattern? I
wanted to answer that.
We also want to understand the pattern of NEET itself.
What's the pattern quickly?
Only
45 questions on physics, 45 questions on chemistry, 45 on zoology and botany. Totally 180. 4 marks.
So 45 questions on physics.
45 on chemistry, 45 on math, on botany, and 45 on zoology.
So 45 times are 4, that is 1.
180. 180 into 4, 720.
Right.
If you get a wrong answer, -1. So therefore, if you had given 179 right answers, your score would have been 720 minus 5, that is 750. Here, there have been answers, scores of 718, 790. No. Mathematically impossible. Because you lose your answer was that it is because of the grace marks.
No, I have to retest. Give me 2 minutes, give me 2 minutes.
Submission something.
Just some figures which are handy, and that might answer. I'm obliged to your lordship's question. It's a very pertinent question. We examine the pattern of 100 top ranking students, those who were in the first 100. But the analysis comes that they were distributed amongst 95 centers in 56 cities in 18 states or union territories.
The top 100.
They are not found that they appeared in 95 centers located in 56 cities, which are spread out in 18 states or union territories.
Is interesting. And my lord. Yes, one second. Now,
Page 86 of my reply, but page 37 is the evidence.
One more thing which we want to know now is that how many FIRs matter has been handed over to CBI for investigation?
I'll just tell you.
Totally, how many FIRs have been registered?
One FIR paper leak in Patna. Rest, my lord, are FIRs for some local malpractice, my lord.
How many totally FIRs have been registered?
According to them, 6, our knowledge is not 6.
Can you give us tomorrow, maybe
day after, day more, but we'll be able to. I have enough.
Just 1 second. All right.
I will tell you.
Second, we want to know, now, one thing is very clear, that the leak has taken place.
In one center.
No, whether one center, that's what we have to decide. The fact that the sanctity of the examination is now compromised is beyond doubt.
Correct.
That there has been a leak.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Now, question is, Mr. Solicitor, how widespread is that breach?
Patna also, paper leak is not an admitted thing. But my learned friend relied upon that press not kind of a thing.
No, it's an admitted fact. This is later in the affidavit. But can we deny the fact that a leak of question papers?
Yes, police. Yes.
The complete cover of it is admitted in the
Bihar police, on that very day on which some news reporting came, which my learned friend Mr. Huda read, we issued this press that this is false. This is not our briefing to the media.
No, but it's the case of NTA today that there is no leak.
It's not
The leak is admitted. The fact is they admitted in their computer. Mr. Solicitor, Mr. Kaushik, we take it that it's an admitted fact that there is a leak. There is no question about it. But, the nature of the leak is what we are determining.
Yes.
Therefore, we are asking question. The fact that there was a leakage of question papers cannot be disputed. Now, what is the consequence of that leak would depend upon the extensive nature of that leak. If it
Was it a sustained leak or uncontained?
I'll tell you one thing. You don't cancel a whole examination merely because 2 students have committed a malpractice. Likewise, assuming that there is a leak, we don't live in an ideal world. There should be no leak. But before we